I'm kind of pitching myself here as somebody who's an experienced investor, but always, I'm definitely new to this business as well. I just want to speak about this product and just how much, it has really helped me, propel myself, get better with talking with sellers, actually be able to close a deal. My strategies right now have been primarily direct mail, cold calling, and cold texting. And I've found a lot of success with Real Estate IQ, especially being able to get in front of customers, have engaging conversations. And of course, I'm hoping to use all of that to build my own business and eventually retire off.
Excited to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to Real Estate IQ. They have the absolute top leads in the industry and just make investing effortless for all of us as real estate investors here in Texas and obviously everywhere else that they're focused. And I'm proud to be associated with Real Estate IQ. Love what you guys do and love how you all help investors so that we can focus on the thing that makes us the most money, which is the job of real estate investing.
I wanted to jump on this morning and give a shout out to Real Estate IQ. I began my journey with them a few years ago, just using some of the more basic products, the off-market leads. And since then, growing and visiting and talking with not only Steve, but other people who are involved with Real Estate IQ, I've had the opportunity to actually not only be a client, but I also became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.
I'm kind of pitching myself here as somebody who's an experienced investor, but always, I'm definitely new to this business as well. I just want to speak about this product and just how much, it has really helped me, propel myself, get better with talking with sellers, actually be able to close a deal. My strategies right now have been primarily direct mail, cold calling, and cold texting. And I've found a lot of success with Real Estate IQ, especially being able to get in front of customers, have engaging conversations. And of course, I'm hoping to use all of that to build my own business and eventually retire off.
Excited to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to Real Estate IQ. They have the absolute top leads in the industry and just make investing effortless for all of us as real estate investors here in Texas and obviously everywhere else that they're focused. And I'm proud to be associated with Real Estate IQ. Love what you guys do and love how you all help investors so that we can focus on the thing that makes us the most money, which is the job of real estate investing.
I wanted to jump on this morning and give a shout out to Real Estate IQ. I began my journey with them a few years ago, just using some of the more basic products, the off-market leads. And since then, growing and visiting and talking with not only Steve, but other people who are involved with Real Estate IQ, I've had the opportunity to actually not only be a client, but I also became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.
Check, check. Okay, let's get started, everybody. Welcome. I hope you're all staying warm here with the cold front and everything. Good news is, in a lot of part of our state, the ice has started to melt. And so it's starting to warm up. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start off with some, quick introduction, and then we'll dive into some deals update and market update and how it's going to affect us as real estate investors. This event is brought to you by Real Estate IQ. Real Estate IQ is a premier distressed seller and lead generation solution. Our core product is the distressed sellers, right? A lot of houses that are going into foreclosure, as an example. And there are other distress signals as well that we monitor, and you can use the data to do outreach and turn them into deals. Now, along with that, we also work with outreach and qualification of these leads as well. What we call warm leads, hot leads, and fire leads, right? Fire leads are basically the folks that have expressed an interest to sell. We have talked to them on the phone and qualified them and got a lot of information about the deal. So the next step is to underwrite and place an offer. And so, just kind of the entire process of turning basically a cold data, right? Who the person is on the distress side, all the way to a signed contract. Kind of along the way, we add value from point A to point B, and we offer those solutions for you as well. And with that, we also kind of offer you mentorship and just kind of walk you through how you do the deals, right? That's why we have this Deal Makers weekly live stream to really kind of go over how we do deals. And hopefully we use this and we kind of as an example of both good examples to follow and on how to make deals. And maybe if we make mistakes, those are kind of anti-example, right? Bad examples that you don't need to kind of repeat the same mistake again. It's much better to get education from someone else paying the tuition either way. So we're gonna get started. So we have a new website launched, and this is what it looks like. Want to highly encourage you to visit our website on a regular basis. We update this at least weekly on news that affects the real estate investment world, and also insights and intelligence that affects us as real estate investors. So just keep coming back. There are like new deals that we post on here and new updates. So we're gonna skip over the testimonials. A lot of folks have found success in our community and using our distressed seller, and we would love you to be one of them as well. And if you have a lead and you don't know what to do, you can send your lead to us, and we'll figure out what's the right way to put together a winning offer and help you close the deal. Okay. So our speaker today, I'm flying solo. Everyone has a little bit of items that they have to work on, but they'll be back in the coming weeks. Tamla wants to remind everybody that January 31st is the deadline. I guess January 31st falls on a weekend, right? So that following Monday is the deadline for filing 1099s if you have contractors that work for you. Make sure you already got their W-9. It's not too late to get the W-9 information and then generate that 1099. There is penalty for missing that deadline. So between now and I think kind of the tax filing date, there are multiple deadlines that we want to be very mindful of in our kind of planning and kind of filing purposes. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into market updates. And we got a couple of case studies for you. We got a few properties under contract. So just kind of want to share some stories on that. And then we have prepared a feature topic on, recently I have received quite a lot of questions on the distressed seller information and like what exactly they are. So I got a whole list of questions. So we're gonna go over a little bit of what the information is about, and then we'll go into those questions. So if you're already a user for the distressed seller data, this would be a really good kind of reminder session for you. And if you're kind of on the sideline, kind of watching, at least you can kind of see what the information is about and how to utilize it. Another kind of teaser towards the end is we actually have an in-person event that we are planning, and the location is set, the date is set. It's going to be in February, and so all that data I'll be sharing with you towards the end of the session. So make sure you stay until the end, okay? Okay, market update. Mortgage rate are now under 6%, quoted by some lenders. There's a range of 5.99 to 6.3, but we're start seeing mortgage rates are dipping under 6%. And why is this important? There are studies show that every 1% interest drop will reduce the number of buyers by about 5 million people, and vice versa. If we see a interest raise, it reduces the number of buyers by about 5 million people. So this is kind of interesting because now we're seeing a more than 1% drop now in interest rate since 2 years ago, and this is gonna create a higher demand for the for real estate properties and for housing. And while this is still higher than pre 2022, before around the COVID crazy low interest rate environment, the drop from the peak gives investors a lot more room to make the numbers work, especially for creative terms and seller finance and those different kind of deal structure. And then obviously also creates a lot of refi movement as well for anybody that got locked into a higher interest rate, for example, or you're kind of looking into a refi from a BRRRR strategy. Okay, existing home sales ended 2025 by going up 5.1%. That was a month over month in December. So December sales is actually higher than November, which is kind of not very typical. Typically, kind of later on in the year, your sales tend to drop. And so it's actually the highest level since early 2023. From an investor angle, right? From an investor standpoint, more sales activities means we're going to get more sold comps in the area, right? They're going to be more motivated sellers and usually better deal flows for investors. So that's a good news for us. We're also seeing a tick up in inventory, right? The single family permits have reached 990,000 which is the highest in the last 10 months. And this building more new builds and more inventory is gonna shift this towards the buyer. So it's gonna create more options for more inventory, right? And then the buyers are gonna have more options, and it may not be great for the investors that are looking to buy in an area that is full of new builds. You're gonna have new builders to compete with, but maybe it also is an opportunity for say the folks that bought not that long ago, and they don't have equity and they are now trying to sell, but they are competing with new builds. So how can they sell? we can step in and make a sub 2 offer. Okay, so there's pros and cons, and depends on how you look at it and how you kind of play this. You can play this to your advantage. Okay, a couple of deals updates. Last week we shared this property is now leased, and kind of looking at number AR, it was 90,000 in, right? We purchased for 66, rehab for 24, and we were expecting a rent of 1,400 and 1,500. And even with the hard money and the interest rate, with the current rent is still going to be cash flowing quite a bit. The next step is going to be refi. Tamla wanted to share with me that this deal was kind of cool, kind of the last bullet point, where we were able to increase the rent by $25 a month by adding a fridge, just kind of supplying a fridge in this for this property. And because it's a rental, you don't need a new fridge. So we put in a used fridge for, we bought it for $250. So in about 10 months, it's gonna pay for itself. And then it's gonna add cash flow just by having an additional piece of appliance in the property. So good cash flow. There are, I think, an additional 300 jobs in this area. And so now there's a lot of housing demand close to this area. So a couple of deals progress. There's a deal now in Elgin, Texas. This is about 30 minutes from Austin. The distress situation is that there was a mold situation in the house, and at first they thought it's from the roof leaking, but the roof was actually fine, and it turned out to be the AC unit leaking, and that causes mold in the house, and creates a problem, right? A big problem on this house. So the owner no longer live here, the seller no longer live here, and the ARV is about 300,000. Between maybe a little bit lower, 280 to 300,000, depending on which AVM you use, which valuation model you use. But talking about a sub 2 deal, and mortgage balance is 139 at 4% interest, right? That's a really good interest rate here we're looking at. And then PITI is under 1,500. The reinstatement is a little bit higher, so there's some additional work we need to do to kind of work this deal. From a long-term rental standpoint, it's going to cash flow. Co-living is going to cash flow. Short-term rental is going to cash flow. Of course, these are kind of co-living, and short-term rental tend to have vacancy considerations. So this is like if it's 100% type of occupancy, and obviously it's not going to be that. So we can take a percentage, right, in terms of occupancy. But it works for these models, and it also work for a wrap model. So we're deciding, how we want to structure this deal. If this is somewhere you're interested in, we'd love to have a conversation, and we just kind of talk about how we want to do this. Okay, next, there's a 35-unit single-family home rental portfolio available. Most of the rental properties are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and the numbers look pretty good. So a gross revenue of $557,000 and a net operating income of last year is $253,000, almost $254,000. The seller is willing to, number one, if you're going to do a cash offer, seller is willing to sell it at a discount. And the seller is also willing to do owner finance if you structure it as owner finance. Of course, the owner is going to require a big money down and kind of finance the rest. So if this is something you're interested in, if you're interested in individual properties within the portfolio, that's also possible. Obviously, it's the seller prefers to sell it as a portfolio, a little bit less hassle. But she's also willing to sell one by one as well. So you're looking for kind of rental income properties. This is a good opportunity to look at. You just need to scan the QR code and go through a qualification process. What do I want to share about? And the interesting thing about these properties is that they are rent ready, and there's a lot of them already have a renter in place, so you don't need to put a lot of work to kind of make that cash flow. The time it takes to acquire all the way to kind of making cash flow, that's a lot shorter, because they are either rent ready and they need to find a new tenant to move in, an old tenant moved out, or it already has a tenant in there. Okay, if you want to get in the game, there is the funding network that you can join. You can participate through finding deals, or you got a deal, you can also ask for funding. So Randy's our point person here. You can write down his phone number or scan this QR code. So our featured deal today is this one in Benton Harbor. Looks like it's in a pretty kind of busy area, and if you're in this kind of zip code or in Michigan, you're looking for deals, this could be an opportunity. We got a couple of opportunities in Benton Harbor too. We're just not featuring that today. So just reach out to us if you're interested in this property. Okay, more deals available. Just need to fill out this QR code and ask for the opportunity. We'll want to get to know you and kind of talk to you about what type of deal you're looking for, and then we'll match you with the deals that are currently available. Okay, and if you're interested in kind of really learning how to make deals, right? Really kind of get in the game, get busy with deal finding. There's the one-on-one mentorship program. We call it the Deal Accelerator. It's kind of basically getting you all those distressed seller leads, and if you need deals, we can supply you with the deals too. It's really about for those that are ready to roll up your sleeve and kind of get busy and start working on the deals. And so this is a really good program for you. There's a lot of traction already on this program and helping our clients getting into the game. Tamla wanted to share that how we were featuring a couple of deals that are new earlier. It's about consistent execution. Just kind of keep doing what you're doing. There might be ups and downs in the individual deal standpoint, but if we keep doing what we're doing and we're consistent in that outreach and everything that we need to do to find deals, and just execute, put your head down and execute, you're going to start seeing consistent results. And I agree with that. So track record. So today I prepared the distressed seller data. This is one of the trainings that we recently shared with our team. And let me see if I can do this. Okay. Cool. So this is the pre-foreclosure data. We're going to talk about just two main types today, the pre-foreclosure and the probate. So for pre-foreclosure, the house is going to go get auctioned off next month. If you're in Florida, it gets auctioned off every week. Every week there's a date. So lots of motivation, right? So the owner, if they don't sell and they have to go through with the auction, there are dire consequences for them. Not only do they lose the house, the creditor can go after them personally if the house doesn't pay off all the debt. So there's a lot of motivation, right? A lot of highly distressed situation. You may, when you talk to them, some people may be so distressed that they swear at you. But then there are the folks that actually want to receive that support and assistance, right? They really want to, right, get because most people want a better situation than they are today. And so as investors, we offer that and kind of come up with a solution for them. We're adding value to them. So here, if we kind of look at different data fields, I have blurred some of the information because it's personal and just kind of want to protect folks' privacy in a live stream. Here you have document ID. You don't really need to worry about that. It's a kind of internal number. You don't need to worry about what this document means. The date added is the date it was recorded in our system. And the record date is the date that was recorded by the county. You get the auction information, which county it is, right? The mortgager is the borrower. And then you get the property information here. Oh, maybe I need to move my hand here, my mouse over here. Next, you can see configuration of the house itself. Our team put a lot of work into doing this research. It takes we have to go to 3-4 different sources to put all this together, and there's a lot of work in the data mining process to get this done. We actually have a training on recorded training on this that we go into even more detail. So you can watch that if you're curious. And for this, I'm gonna just kind of move a little bit faster because we are doing this live. The trustee name is the local trustee that is gonna auction off on the house. So if you're using this information to go into the auction to bid, you want to know where the trustees are and where this person is. And another thing you want to know is when it's auction off. So when it says 10 a.m., they actually will auction off between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. So there's a 3-hour window. If it's 1 p.m., they're being auctioned off between 1 and 4. So you kind of need to be there in those 3 hours, just in case they call it around that time, right? You want to be there where the trustee is when they are announcing the auction. So bank information, here you get the equity information, right? These are just numbers, so we can show. So what we do is a very common question is, where do all these estimated equity come from? And then, all these numbers. So let me just kind of take a moment to share with you how we do this process. So what we do is we look at the original deed of the house and the original mortgage to figure out how much they originally took out, the loan amount, and when they took it out. Okay. Based on that, we can come up with a historical interest rate. Right? It's not the actual interest rate of the mortgage itself, but it's a historical interest rate that we can use to come up with an estimate. So we use this to come up with the estimate to calculate the equity. The actual interest rate for the mortgage note, you need to get that from the owner if you're gonna do a sub-2. Okay, and then what's their monthly payments and all that stuff. That's something that we ask for during the kind of actual communication with the owner when we start working with them. Okay, and then we used the appraised value. The appraised value is the county, how much the local county appraises the market value for the property. We use that because it's easy. We just need to pull that from the CAD, right? So if you want to really update it, you want to run a CMA, a market comp for the actual value of the property today. And so then what we do is we, based on this, right, the original loan amount and the interest rate, if the owner has been consistently paying down the mortgage, after, so let's just say the first one, for example, this is how much principal is left. If they have been paying down consistently every month since 2012, basically. Okay, so based on this, we subtract this number from the appraised value to get the equity. And then the equity percentage comes from that. So the equity percentage is useful for folks, for example, they want to focus on the ones with a high equity percentage, right? Because then you can give them a cash offer and they likely have enough equity to say yes. Or you could target the low equities if you want like sub 2 type of transaction and you want to do wrap. And so, different, I guess, based on your strategy, your acquisition strategy, you will use these filters, accordingly. You're going to do it a little bit different. You're going to target different type of folks. And then another question is like, what's the difference between assessed value and appraised value? So appraised value is what the county thinks its market value is. So the appraised value is what we use for market value to come up with the equity. The assessed value is how much, what's the basis for property taxes. So this is for tax purposes, for tax assessment purposes. And for market value, it's appraised value. Okay, we also do we also look for what's the loan type, a loan modification, when does it expire. The instrument number is basically the number of the mortgage. Okay, so you can read the mortgage yourself. There's a lot of information in that note. It's public data, and because we were already kind of reading that, we share it here too. So when you actually start working with the owner, you can do a title search yourself and pull that information, or you can ask us to do a title search for you and pull not just this mortgage information, but what are all the other liens that are on the property. Okay, we also look for the folks, see if they are owner occupied or not. Okay, so if some folks really want to, they like marketing to non-owner occupied because the owner does not have attachment to the house itself. Some even want to focus more on the out of state owner. So here, this is where you can filter all that information. And then you got email address, phone number, and additional flags. And we even have a relative information. So if you have, if you want to reach a relative, or you can't reach an owner, you can actually try to reach a relative to trace back and reach the owner. So this is also something that we provide for you from a skip trace standpoint. So you can reach out to these folks as well. So that's how, this is kind of the basis of how we do lead generation, because it's through the phone numbers and emails and all that that we do the outreach and really reach the distressed seller, right? And that's how you can acquire the property that I share with you in the earlier slides. Okay, and then just got some quick words about probate. Probate is basically the person has inherited a house and maybe there's a lot of headache in maintaining the house and keep paying the bills, or they inherit a house, and because a lot of times if the death is based or is due to old age, maybe the house is already free and clear, or it has a lot of equity, right? The majority is equity, and so the heirs want to cash out. Okay, so we have all this information. Sometimes people ask like, what's the decedent? This is a person that passed away. You get the property information here, and then what you're looking for in terms of outreach, you're looking for the grantee's information because that's the person that makes the decision. and then the address that are used for the grantee is likely the ones that you want to use to do mailing, for example, right, to reach out to them, because it really depends on if the grantee is also living in the same house or not. Sometimes they're not. Okay, so that's our information. Okay, so I'm not gonna go over the evictions. Okay, let's see. Trying to stop sharing the screen for a second. This is when, we got a couple of frequently asked questions, so I want to kind of feel that. The first one was, what's the appraised value versus assessed value? I kind of already just went over that. The appraised value is the market value, and the assessed value is how much they're going to be paying property taxes on, is based on the assessed value. So from a amount of equity standpoint, you always want to use the appraised value. All right. The next question is, what's the difference between pre-foreclosure and loan modification? The pre-foreclosure. So if you kind of look at the information of these two types, it's pretty much exactly the same. However, the pre-foreclosure, they are facing foreclosure, and for loan modification, it could be that they are trying to refi, right? Or it could be that they were facing pre-foreclosure, but they also qualify for loan modification, so they did loan modification. So loan modification may be distressed, highly distressed, maybe it's always going to be less distressed than pre-foreclosure. There may be a portion where it's due to the fact that they were facing foreclosure, and then there's also the refi. So you're going to have you have a more distressed situation in the pre-foreclosure. And then the other question is, what is the difference between heirship and probate? And the information is pretty much the same too. So here, for both types, is also they're both inheriting a property. The difference is if there was a will in place that talks about who the grantee is, which is the person that is handling the estate, that they would they would be filing at the probate court when there's a will in place. When there's no will in place, then they have to prove that they are the heirs. So that's what the affidavit of heirship is. They're both signals of an inherited house. With the heirship, you have more people that you gotta talk to for making that decision. For probate, you have one grantee to deal with. And either way, you want to, both are kind of attractive if you're interested in this type of, inherited house type of leads. And in these, then, there's a case number in there. And that's, there was a question about case numbers, and that's what the probate case is. And affidavit of heirship, I don't recall if there's a case number, but that's what the case number would be. Let's see. I think we have fielded all the questions here. So I hope that's helpful for those that are looking at the deals and looking at working these distressed seller data. Okay. Cool. So that's our topic of the day. All right, so if you're interested in this type of distressed seller, you can scan the QR code. There's still a VIP pricing here, and just to get you ready for 2026. I hope you spend your January productively, and kind of really got ready for building a system and getting consistent outreach. You can scan this QR code as well to talk to our consultants. I already did the Q&A. For those that have questions, you can feel free to use the comment to ask. And these are our upcoming events. We got some classes, really awesome educational classes on how you can find deals, different types of deals, and how you can work the different type of leads. I really like the class on the 6 ways to make money and building wealth, where we really kind of go over the techniques of how we can make some money short term, but also how we can build long-term wealth, and a couple of techniques that you can use. There's one that's quite advanced, but those are kind of the most important information you want to really capture. Like, how do we really do it, and how do we use it to build wealth? And then there is the foreclosure secret. That's also an extremely popular class. The pre-foreclosure and foreclosure is always popular classes. And then on the right side, we have the live events, right? Today is the Dealmakers live stream. And tomorrow at 9:30 Central Time is our office hours. So if you have questions on how do I get started, or what are some of the things I need to do, I can. What we will do is we'll kind of ask you some questions to understand where you are, what you're looking for, and kind of give you some suggestions on how you can get started. Or if you have a deal specific thing, we can also look at it together too. And then Friday open house, we go over the the opportunity that we see on the market, in the real estate investment market, and how do we use financial engineering, right, to really kind of disrupt the market. Okay, and for those of you that are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or kind of nearby, actually, if you're in Texas, this is all you can get here. So we have a Dealmakers Dallas. This is going to be a live event. We're going to be in Dallas, downtown Dallas. If you scan this QR code, you'll get to the Party for registration page, and we're looking for meeting you. It's a really awesome event that we have planned. It's a model that we have already proved out in Austin. People really like being here and making quality connections with folks that are actively doing deals. It's going to be on Friday at 9:30 in the morning. And great place. If you're just getting started, you can get some exposure. If you're a serious deal maker, this is a really good place to be to make quality connections and make quality deals. Okay. I think this is all the slides I have. And we're gonna end with saying, we can learn as much as we can, but the moment really starts when we take action. So you can start your real estate journey with us. And with that said, we're gonna end a little bit early, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We'll have more updates and market updates and deal updates, educational topic for you. If there's certain things that you want to learn during our topic session, feel free to give us some suggestions, or feel free to request it. Kind of based on what you're trying to learn, we can create those material. All right, have a great day, everybody, and have a great weekend.
I'm kind of pitching myself here as somebody who's an experienced investor, but always, I'm definitely new to this business as well. I just want to speak about this product and just how much, it has really helped me, propel myself, get better with talking with sellers, actually be able to close a deal. My strategies right now have been primarily direct mail, cold calling, and cold texting. And I've found a lot of success with Real Estate IQ, especially being able to get in front of customers, have engaging conversations. And of course, I'm hoping to use all of that to build my own business and eventually retire off.
Excited to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to Real Estate IQ. They have the absolute top leads in the industry and just make investing effortless for all of us as real estate investors here in Texas and obviously everywhere else that they're focused. And I'm proud to be associated with Real Estate IQ. Love what you guys do and love how you all help investors so that we can focus on the thing that makes us the most money, which is the job of real estate investing.
I wanted to jump on this morning and give a shout out to Real Estate IQ. I began my journey with them a few years ago, just using some of the more basic products, the off-market leads. And since then, growing and visiting and talking with not only Steve, but other people who are involved with Real Estate IQ, I've had the opportunity to actually not only be a client, but I also became an investor with them. And that is one of the beauties of being able to be part of Real Estate IQ, is it gives you the opportunity to grow as an investor, especially in real estate.